I'll tell you what's nuts. So, the struggle I complained about with my plants and the water, because I was using rainwater, and, I made all these shelves and put them all in the windows so that they would get the best sunlight. And, ever since this fake sun rollout, there is changed everything for my plants, obviously. But the weird thing is, just to make a point about it, was back here where I have my little hospital on the table with the depression light. So, ones that look like they're really struggling, I'll put them in front of that light they would choose to stay in front of it all the time. Even with these plant lights that I have lined in the windows, they're still not as effective as this depression light. They really like the depression light. They're depressed. So anyways, up in the very top window, there is a plant. So it's kind of close to the depression light, but it is reaching for it. It's pulling towards it. The leaves are turning to face it. If in case you don't remember, in science class, it said plants pull towards the light because that's their photosynthesis that helps grow, and it's their energy, is their food. So and when it is pulling, it's in the window, yet it's pulling towards the depression light. That's a significant thing to me. So one thing too today, because there's all these people who are always like, well, I don't see it. I don't think anything's going on. You're just making something out of, like we're just making shit up. And to me, my attitude is, I'm sorry you don't see it, but luckily for you, there's people like me who do, because we're saving your asses, as far as I'm concerned, just by us sitting here, screaming and yelling, screaming, fire, fire. They at least is getting them to pay attention. Whatever's going to turn something on, who knows, but I think it's something. One thing too is, there's still, today's the meeting where supposedly we're being signed away. But just remember, they have to have your allegiance. They can't sell something they don't own. If you don't have allegiance towards your government, they can't say that they can't force it. They can't force it. And I was watching an old movie yesterday. Oh, as Peggy Sue got married. Man, I could not find a thing to watch. I started that Night Sky, totally disappointed. Oh my gosh. I think it's called Night Sky. It's on Prime, and I was looking forward to it. I thought, oh, cool, supernatural, sci-fi. It's going to probably have a lot of really cool disclosure kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. It is so full of programming. I couldn't even get through 20 minutes of it. It was so disgusting. When they take people who are like in their early 70s and they make them decrepit and they need to go live in a home and stuff, it's total nonsense. It is programming. My mom yesterday went to, and I would never consider telling my mom to leave her house. Oh, you need to go to one of those places where, it's so funny how we never hear much about him anymore. That mayor of New York who killed all of those old people. So, but that's what the place is. It's a gas chamber for the old. The hospital is a gas chamber for the sick. They just try and move you into these places so that they can kill you. I saw a guy yesterday, a couple days ago. It was a young guy, and he was the, person in his family. No, stop, don't do this, don't do that. And, he was getting a little bit of people listening, but not enough. And he said, whatever you do, do not let the grandparents go get any of these. Well, then they did. And because he had to go back to wherever he was from. And so they did. And then his worst fears happened. They ended up in the hospital on a vent and dead within minutes of apart of each other. So, and he was just so upset. And he was explaining the whole thing about how the hospital makes money off of each person. It's a whole thing about why everybody, a car wreck, anything, you were decapitated, then you had COVID. What else could you imagine it to be? That's what leads to everything. You go through the windshield. It's the Dovec. It's what happened to them. and they coughed, and then they went through the windshield, that's what so, there was a whole purpose to that, and it had to do with getting it into some sort of status for emergency so that they could bring these on, which is just another form of poisoning. And that's why you have to take so many of them. Some people only need one or two, but you don't know what's going on inside that person's DNA. You don't know what all poisons they've had. You don't know what their mix is, because we're all a bunch of chemistry experiments. So when my mom, yesterday, she went, and she had told me that the people, they're trying to, move people into the old folks home, which in that show, it showed her talking to her doctor, and that's the push all the time, is get them in the nursing homes, get them in the, you can't take care of yourself anymore. You must go in here. We'll take care of you. And we'll take care of you. So we got red ties to spare. Got a lot of doorknobs here, people. So, anyways, she went yesterday to, listen to this woman talk, and she's just carrying on last night. She was just, oh my gosh, so excited about this woman. She's well into her 90s, I think. This old woman, and she was a total activist in the sense of creating social change, really doing things that impacted our society, and making changes in a lot of different things. So she was a real trailblazer, this lady, and was leaving her true legacy behind. And so my mom said she was so interesting. She was so sharp. She was so articulate. And she was, her stories were just like, my mom's in her late 70s, and she's just sitting there with her mouth hanging open. I mean, my mom found a new girl crush, that's for sure. She was just like, this is my new role model. This woman is so spectacular. She said the only thing that even gave you any idea that she was older was because of her osteoporosis. But osteoporosis is caused from the poisoning and the pulling the calcium from her bones. So it's all part of the chemicals and toxins, everything that ages us. And the participation is us not healing ourselves and not doing our work and holding resentment towards others and holding resentment towards ourselves. Most people hold so much resentment towards themselves. I can't believe I'm so stupid. Oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm so dumb. And, people just beat themselves down, and that's acceptable. It's like, if you don't beat yourself down, then you must be an arrogant asshole or something. And we've got to completely change our programming and how we look at things. And also, I had seen, and this one keeps popping up all the time. There's this younger guy, and he's in Russia, and he's kind of doing it as it's funny, because you can hear that he's kind of doing it in a smug but humorous kind of way, and he's showing Russia, and he's like, look, people, there is nothing going on here. Quit believing your media. This is what it's like here. It's perfect. We are making the change in this world. You will see, we are saving you. So it was like, they are, because they know they're free. They're free from the banks. They're free from a lot of stuff that we're still fighting, and the I'll say backwards ball, if you go the other direction. There were so many in that place, because it is kind of like, it seems to me that they come up with these places that don't have to follow the rules. Switzerland, the Vatican, DC, Ukraine, like the certain places where they have really broad, kind of open way that they can do things. So, and there was a big thing about those balls were testing on people that lived over there. And, there's so much coming out. Remember the other day when I was talking about these different countries who are really upset with us right now? There was, I keep hearing these different people talking about it. And it's like, it looks like committee meetings or something, like what you imagine like to be Davos or any of these places where all of these different representatives from different countries go and discuss things, like the UN or something. So it looks like it's something like that in this clip. But it was another one I just saw, and it was a man from India, and he was talking about all of the drone strikes and how much chaos and murder we have created as Americans in other countries. We have just, all these other countries, planets, as far as I'm concerned, have been under our attack, our control. And what's weird too is, I was thinking about this, is like, at what point do we not hold ourselves accountable? Like, I mean, it's our government who's doing this, and we're all just, struggling to stay alive. We're all distracted. But really, they're doing some really horrible things to people. There's really justifiable reasons why there's so many people in all these different countries that are so upset and so angry at us. And, it's all going full circle. It's all coming to the surface. And, I mean, people sit there and act like there's certain leaders who are really, really bad. So that means that all of the people are bad. Well, that's kind of what's going on with us, We're kind of getting the rap because of how aggressive and persistent our government is about taking control. And the whole reason ours is because they're so cabal sold. I mean, the America was sold out at the Tea Party, That was all a ruse to think that we were free. All of our taxes and everything has been sporting the crown, which I did see. There's a lot going on about, her. They're definitely going more towards that she's dead. I think now that they have said that she's sick, she can't go. There was some big thing she was supposed to go to the other day, and she didn't go for oh no, it was her address. She does this yearly address to the nation, to her people, which should be the whole goddamn world because we're all under the crown. So she didn't do it. So, and there's so many signs. If you're paying attention, I guess, Widmer or whatever, that horrible tyrannical governor in Michigan, well, she's all of a sudden disappeared, and there's somebody speaking on her behalf. So, there's definitely things happening. They want to keep trying to make us think nothing's happening, but there really is a rest, no matter how much they want to cover it up in the news and pretend like, oh, everything's cool except for those damn monkeys. Got these problems with the monkeys. They're giving us the AIDS, they're giving us the pox. So, but it is your allegiance to the narrative, really. How much do you want to participate in the scam? And, another important thing is don't give up, because if you give up, who's going to come in and pick you up and dust you off and get you going again? I mean, this is a one-man show. We got to be doing this for ourselves. Everybody's going through the same traumas. There's nobody there to rescue us. There's so many people who are still waiting for a savior to come in. I can't believe how, Christian, yesterday when I was saying how, it's shocking sometimes when these people are really divulging what's in their true heart. And, I got cussed out again today by some Christian who said that they that I'm preaching negative because, it's negative to be aware. So I'm preaching negativity and stuff about God. And even one video I said something about Jesus Christ, and it's like, oh my God, you said his name in vain. Like, they freak out on you, like the Bible is the only true word. It's like, no, dude, I go by the Sumerian tablets. I go by a lot of other things besides the Bible. Maybe if you expanded your library, it would give you some more insight. The Bible is a philosophy to follow a certain path. You're following the path of Jesus if you're truly following the Bible, the path to enlightenment through Jesus. It's just your guide. It's who's holding up your lantern, and some people need that role model to lead them in that direction. But those of us who have a strong connection to our higher self or to the universe or whatever it is you believe, your connection to source, angels, other planets, whatever it is, that is our path to enlightenment. We're not all on the same path. We're all on different paths. Just like I said, if we're all climbing the side of the mountain, we can't all be touching the same damn rocks. We got to look for what makes sense to us, what's going to hold us, How are we going to do it? You know, because that's what all of this stuff is about. It's about teaching us to be sovereign, teaching us that the government doesn't have power unless you give them power. If you give them power out of fear because you give them your fear, because you're scared of what they're going to do next, no, you cut them off at the knees. They don't have power. Yeah, they can still come in. They can still come in and kill us. We could be killed any day at any time. That's part of the living life. That's part of the purpose to it. You know, it has to have a point where it stops, where it ends. You complete your contracts, you're done with the show. You leave the stage. So, you know, all of this fear that they could kill you, like they can kill you early. They can't kill you early. As a matter of fact, if something happens to you that is a traumatic event, a car wreck or something, and it's not your time, you will be healed. You will be rescued. You will have some crazy, you know, miracles happen. That's what they call them, because you don't go until it's your time. And if they're going to come at me, I will take that strong of a stand that I will not bend. I will not give my freedom over to tyranny. I'll stand up for my freedom. And if that's my, you know, exit stage left, you know, then that's the way it was always going to be. I have to stand up what's true for me. I have to stand up for what's right. I can't play a game and, you know, play with a bunch of cheaters and pretend like that's acceptable. No, it's not acceptable. I believe I'm here for the, you know, the new world. Like we're seeding a new existence. So I believe I'm here for that. I don't believe I'm going to be killed by these tyrannical beings, but I'm definitely not going to live in fear. I'm not going to give them my energy. I'm not going to submit or give them my allegiance. You know, they need something from you to take anything from you. You know, you can take what you want from them, but you got to have some boundaries. What are you going to give back? You have to have a strong line, because these people are abusive. They'll take. So you have to have a strong definition of character. And that is what all this stuff that's happening is doing. It's helping you realize your priorities. It's helping you define yourself. You know, this is a beautiful time and experience that we're all going through, even though it's hard as hell. And it's very traumatic, but trauma brings change, and we need change. We have to change out of the system. The system is, you know, it's something you have to survive. It isn't something that you ever thrive in. It's just surviving it. I saw a thing too. Somebody was saying, calling that this Milky Way is the university of the hero's journey. The hero's journey is the pattern that they put in all of the stories. And so it makes sense that the hero's journey is the education in Earth. Because remember, I said in all the programming, all of the movies, all the stories are our stories. They're the stories that we come here and go through. Those are the stories that we sit and watch, and sometimes we judge others, and sometimes they make them into jokes, and they use it for programming and all sorts of stuff with that box. But, you know, it is our stories, and it is the hero's journey. And we are going through that right now, is to get to that part. All seems lost, and then this great thing is going to happen. I knew she'd be coming in no time. She's having such a hard day. And I will say that last night, let me just let her in, because I did want to say something about this. So hold on just a sec. Okay, come on. Hurry, because I'm doing something. I have on shorts and stuff today. It's supposed to be super sunny, so I'm going to go out there and put it to the test. Let's see. Can you get a suntan from this thing? I don't think so. You probably get skin burns, probably the acid rain and this weird artificial light. I keep seeing so many things about that too. Like they were disclosing that they had an artificial sun for a while. It's not something that we ever paid attention to. So anyways, yesterday I was outside and I was working in the yard, you know, working on my furniture and doing the patio and stuff. It was really fun. I love to do projects. It's like my favorite thing. And so out there working on this project and nonstop with the fucking air traffic. And the other day, the first day that we had a blue sky, there was a lot of these, like, it sounds like World War II kind of puttery propeller planes or something, just going and going and going and going. Like, so then I was like, okay, so maybe these ones are the ones that are spraying, because why are they just staying here all day going? But I never saw any stuff being up there. So, but then you would hear a military plane go over, and they're very distinct sounding. And so then I was like, okay, so we got two things going on up here. And so then yesterday, it became nice and it was still. And we were outside, and so we decided, to go sit in the evening. It was kind of supposedly sunset-ish kind of time, and it was just nonstop with these military planes, and it was really beautiful. Like, there were so many people outside, sitting outside, and kids out riding their bikes, and you could hear kids playing and stuff. And then all of these military planes kept going and going and going and going. And then all of a sudden it was like this windstorm came in, like dramatic windstorm. And one thing that is weird is, like, on my post on TikTok, I have said some stuff, and sometimes people say stuff and I'm not really sure. I don't really understand it, but something with military planes and them messing with the frequency or something. So then after that happened, and all of a sudden the weather changed just like instantaneously. It was like a cold front came in. It became freezing cold, and the wind just went crazy. I even went in and looked on my phone. It still said 10 miles per hour. It always says 10 miles per hour. But my wind chimes told me differently, because my wind chimes were going crazy. They were blowing all over. They were just going crazy. So I came in. And Stella has been having a hard day for quite a few days, ever since the last, acid rain. So last night when we went to bed, I could not stay. I couldn't lay on one side or my back or the other side or anything more than a couple seconds. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like going, like your parts would go to sleep. But it was also like electrical charges. It was really painful. I switched the other side, and switched the other side. And it was really horrible. I kept thinking, okay, well, something is doing this. Like, I don't know what it is, or whatever they're spraying, how much stuff is spraying that we don't even see. Does everything come down? Because they're trying to change the atmosphere too. Like, there's so much, who knows? What's the backstory to everything that they're doing? I mean, we know the main thing is to get rid of the breeders and feeders. So, they want to reduce that by a huge amount. They'd only want a few left, to just, they need to have some lab rats still. But, oh my God, the life for those people, horrible. Like, please, I want my exit stage left before that happens. I don't want to be, just like I don't want to be one of the people who watched people starve, and now I'm going to be the one seeding the new world. No, thank you. I also don't want to be left to continue this world by being a fucking droid slave to a system. So, I don't know. I mean, this is going to probably go in a lot of different directions. And there's still so many people talking about this split, even though I keep thinking there's going to be so many people who are going to wake up. There will be some people who will split, and go to live out this tyrannical reality, because it's something they want to experience. It's something they need to learn from. So it's their choice. Their soul is making that choice. And everybody has it in their heart. They know. Some people just don't want to face the truth that's inside of them. And some people maybe are going to go into that tyrannical world to save them, like a superhero. I don't know. I mean, these are movies being written as we speak. We're writing the stories that are happening. It's us. We are the creators of this world. We're the creators of the new reality. We're creators of the reality we're going through right now. So, this is just, it's just a change, and we're seeing everything is becoming clear. So we can see, we're creating this. We are creating this so we can learn. And, we're all on a different spectrum in our learning. So some of us, this is just holding on and gritting our teeth. Like, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. Come on, people. So anyways, we all decide on our role in this movie. We decide who it is we're playing. What is the part we play in this movie as it plays out? Because it really is, everything are just stories. This really is the hero journey storyline. And I believe in the new age, we're going to have a new, more expansive storyline than just the hero's journey. But we'll see. There's so much for us to find out and learn and to share. And I think it's super, super exciting. So anyways, I am going to spend some time outside today. I probably will get motivated to have to come in and talk about something. Just remember, everything on our TV is meant to program, scare us, create fear. Because even when you give fear anything, you're feeding this, invisible beast around you. And they want to keep us hopeless and helpless. They want to keep us ready for, the drugs that they offer. It's up to us to want more. It's up to us to connect to our Creator, to understand the difference between science and nature and what the two have to offer. And, I'm, of course, going to go with nature because science is based on lies. Science is based on a bunch of people who think that they can be gods. They're in combat with God. Like, oh, you think you're powerful? I can create life too. I can make other human beings. I can do that. They're always challenging. And like they're fighting against a being or something. But really, they're fighting against all of us because we are the being. We are source. We are the fractals of all that is good. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.